Hey, what's good YouTube? Tempo TCG here, back on my channel, and today I'm covering a very important deck to me. It's the deck that has my first day 2 at a regional. It's got 95% of my points this season, and that deck is Rapid Strike. Now this deck does rotate in a month as of today, so let's jump into this and let's talk about the final deck list that I have for Rapid Strike. This is what I am personally going to be playing to Vancouver. I know maybe I'm probably not going to do great, but I need to play this deck just one last time to one last event because it's about to rotate. So without further ado, let's jump into the list. So here's the list. We do have a 3/3 Inteleon VMAX line. Inteleon VMAX is not only a great attacker, but its ability is kind of what powers our whole deck. It is the ability Double Gunner, which is you discard an energy from your hand, a water energy, and you put 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. This is really great for setting up everything to be knocked out, to be yoga looped, to be rapid flowed. Inteleon is just great for its ability. Its attack, G-Max Spiral, is also very good. It does, for 2 energies, 70 damage, but if you put an energy back in your hand, it does 140. Now, this may not seem great, but with Rapid Strike energy, you're attaching 1 per turn and putting it back into your hand. Maybe you're attacking with Urshifu next turn. It's actually very good for not having to commit too many Rapid Strike energies to all your Pokemon, and 140 is a great number to hit as you're 2-shotting most Pokemon, and with Inteleon's 320 HP, it's probably not getting 1-shot very often. We do have a 2/2 Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Urshifu is a very bulky Pokemon at 330 HP. For 1 fighting energy, it has the attack Gale Thrust, which does 30 damage. However, if Urshifu moved to the active spot this turn, it actually does 150 damage. Now, I know most people are like, oh yeah, but it has to come to the active spot that turn. It's a little difficult, but it's really good with Tower of Waters. That 150 damage, 2-shots everything in the format, including Charizard, as long as you're using Radiant Alakazam to move a little bit of damage counters. Now, Urshifu's main attack is going to be G-Max Rapid Flow, which does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, but you have to discard all the energy attached to Urshifu. It costs 2 fighting and a water. However, that's not really that big of an issue, as you can Melanie, you can attach 1 energy the turn before. It's actually a super solid attack, and it's really good synergy with Inteleon VMAX. We do have a 1/1/2 Octillery line, 1 Remoraid from Battle Styles, 1 Remoraid from Paradox Rift, and then 2 Octillery from Battle Styles. Octillery has the Rapid Strike search ability, which is just once during your turn, you may search your deck for Rapid Strike card. This is the main engine of our deck, and pretty much if they kill Octillery, we're not looking good, but don't tell anybody that. Octillery has 110 HP, and yeah, that's kind of all there is to Octillery. It's just there for its ability. We do run Squawkabilly and Lumineon. Most lists choose one or the other. However, where I'm from, we mainly play best of ones, and I think consistency is kind of what this deck was lacking. So I think running both Squawkabilly and Lumineon means that if there's a game we need Squawkabilly, we're going to have it. If there's a game we need Lumineon, we're going to have it. And I think that's overall really strong. We run Radiant Alakazam as it's really good because Double Gunner spreads to 2 Pokemon. Radiant Alakazam can put that 40 on 1 Pokemon instead, or can put 30 and 30, and overall Alakazam is really good. The only issue I have with it is it does get stuck in the active spot a lot as we play 0 switching cards. We also have Medicham V. Medicham V has the attack Yoga Loop, and that's pretty much all we're using it for. Yoga Loop for 2 energy, you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, and you take an extra turn. This is where Rapid Strike really takes off, is when we've set up a big knockout turn, and then we Yoga Loop, and then we swing. You can take 6 prizes in what is 2 turns, but your opponent doesn't get to play between those 2 turns. Medicham is pretty much the card that wins us every single game. I have opted to go with Drapion instead of Spiritomb, as I think it's better to almost always beat Mew than it is to have a little bit better of a shot at decks like Zard and Stall. Zard is a really easy matchup, and Stall is, you're not winning Stall anyways, so I've just decided I'm going to take the loss to Stall and up my chances at beating some of my other hard matchups. Our supporter count is a lot of 2s. We've got 2 Iono, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Melanie, and as I stated earlier, Melanie is here just to get energies on Urshifu, energies on Medicham, energies on Inteleon. Melanie's really solid. It also draws us 3 cards, so it's really good. We run 2 Clara. Clara is absolutely ridiculous in this deck as we're discarding a lot of energy with Rapid Flow, Double Gunner, and maybe we're discarding our Pokemon off Squawk and Seas. So Claire is really solid at just putting energies and Pokemon back into our hand. So let's say we're playing against Mew VMAX and they kill Drapion, we Claire it back to our hand and win the game. We run 2 Korrina's Focus. Korrina's Focus is draw cards till you have 6 in your hand. Korrina is really good in this deck as it does have the Rapid Strike attribute, so Octillery is able to search for it. Now we have opted to use Cheryl instead of Turo. I think Cheryl is a much better card. It really helps the Charizard matchup as they can swing into 2 Inteleons and an Urshifu and you can just Cheryl all the damage away, completely reset their board, and that's probably going to lead to the win. Charizard is very popular, so I think Cheryl is really, really good. It's also pretty good in the mirror. Arven, I think Arven is very solid as it helps us search for that de-evolution or that Forest Sealstone. It also lets us search for an item like Earthen Vessel, VIP, Ultra Ball, Energy Retrieval. Arven is really good, but I do think Irida is better, and we do run one of both. So Irida lets us search for a water Pokemon and an item card. This is really good for searching for our Octillery, our Inteleons, and then any item we may need, such as Earthen Vessel or Energy Retrieval. Then lastly, what most lists do not play that I think is a must play is Boss's Orders. Boss is really, really good, especially into decks like Mew, especially into decks like Charizard, where maybe they're going to try to hide their Charizard on the bench, as Charizard's Terra attribute says it can't be damaged on the bench. From cards like Urshifu, we can Boss's Orders it up. Or maybe we're playing against Stall and we boss up a Rotom. That is pretty much the only play we've got against Stall, but you know, it's okay. I think Boss is really solid though, as it just means we can swing into whatever Pokemon we need to swing into. We run 4 VIP, 3 Ultra Ball. I think both of these are pretty solid counts. I've seen people go 3 VIP, 4 Ultra Ball. I think 4 VIP is better as setting up is crucial with this deck. We do run 2 Energy Retrieval. Same reason as Clara, we need to recycle our energies, get them back into our hand. We've got enough search options that they're really not hard to find. We should never be missing energies on our turn. We run 1 Earthen Vessel. You could bump this to 2 and go down a TM Devo. However, I think 1 Earthen Vessel is fine. We are playing 1 Nest Ball. I know this seems really low, but pretty much if we don't set up turn 1, we're losing anyways. So Nest Ball isn't really that great of a card in this deck. It does let us search for that mid-game Alakazam, that mid-game Drapion, that mid-game Lumineon. Well, Lumineon doesn't even help. That mid-game Medicham. I think Nest Ball is needed as a one-of, but I don't think you need many of it. We do run 2 TM Devo. The reason I run 2 instead of 1 is, like I stated earlier, we mainly play ones where I live, and prizing 1 TM Devo against a deck like Charizard can really just lose you the game. So I think playing 2 is crucial, especially in ones. Now, when I go to the Vancouver Regional Championships, I will be playing 1 TM Devo and probably 2 Earthen Vessel or a 4th Ultra Ball. I'm not really sure yet, but I don't think you need 2 TM Devo in 3s. I did just play in a best of 3 cup, and I did cut TM Devo for an escape rope, and I think that it actually wasn't a bad play. I still lost to 2 stalls, so that was pretty tragic. We do play 2 for Sealstone. Decks used to play 3. I think 2 is fine, especially with Arven, as Arven just lets you search for that for Sealstone. Sealstone is really great as we don't play any V-Stars, and yeah, it just helps us search for any card we want, and a lot of the time you're going to be short 1 card in this deck, and that for Sealstone can really just help you get there. We do run 3 Tower of Waters. Tower of Waters is really, really good in this deck. It's our path bump. It also states that each Rapid Strike Pokemon in play has 2 less retreat cost, which is really good with setting up our Gale Thrusts, switching from our Inteleon to our Medicham, switching away from our Medicham after a Yoga Loop, getting Octillery out of the active spot. Tower of Waters is really good, and especially because we need our path bumps, and it's also searchable through Octillery, it means that path decks aren't really that bad for us. Now our energy count is 5 water energy and 4 Rapid Strike energy. Decks used to play 6 water energy, but 5 is really fine after we found Earthen Vessel, because Earthen Vessel lets us search for 2 waters, so it's a lot easier to get our water energies into play, and once you have at least 3 energies in play, you're kind of always going to have them, because the chances you don't have Clara or Energy Retrieval are extremely, extremely low, as there's so many ways to find this stuff. And then 4 Rapid Strike energy is completely standard. You need them for all your Pokemon to attack. Yeah, that's the list. Let's jump into some gameplay, and I'll try to show you guys how to play Rapid Strike fairly effectively. Alrighty, so we will be going first in this matchup. Now, going first is really, really big in this matchup, as pretty much we want to get our Pokemon down like our Remoraids and our Urshifus so we can attack next turn. Now we do have a pretty strong starting hand with Battle VIP and Earthen Vessel. TM Devolution, we don't really have a way to get into our Octillery, but hopefully the top deck gods can be nice. This is probably, wow, Korrina top deck is probably the most ideal card we could have. Looks like we're going to be playing against Garchomp, which isn't really a tough matchup, but TM Diva will absolutely eat this deck alive. We're just going to battle VIP pass here. We're going to grab, we do have one extra Urshifu. We're going to grab an Inteleon, 2 Inteleons. I think 2 Inteleons is really good as it's going to pretty much bring us to our swinging our Gibble. We're going to Earthen Vessel away this Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Grab our 2 water energies. We're going to attach a water energy for a turn, and then we're literally just going to pass here. Now, next turn, we're going to be able to Korrina for at least 4 cards. Well, no, at least 3 cards, depending on the top deck, because we're going to evolve our Inteleon. We did get the attach on the Rapid Strike Urshifu, which is probably the most key thing turn 1, as getting that attach means we can turn to Rapid Flow, where if we miss it, it means we really have to look for that Melanie. Now, we don't need that Melanie. Now we can Gmax Rapid Flow next turn, and especially against decks like Charizard, decks like Garchomp, decks that evolve from basic Pokemon. If they don't play that Manaphy, it's pretty much a GG the second we start murdering their bench. Even in the Giratina or Lost Box matchup, if they don't have a Manaphy down and we just start murdering every Comfey we see, it's looking pretty solid. And especially being able to link Rapid Flows and just keep hitting them with them. Like if we Rapid Flow one turn and then Melanie Rapid Flow the next turn, that's pretty much a GG in every single matchup. They did, looks like they are going to bite us, so that's not going to hurt too bad, but we can see what we top deck here. We do top deck the Medicham. That's a pretty good card too, top deck. We're going to evolve into our Inteleon. We're going to double gunner. And then we're going to Korrina's Focus for 5 cards. There's 20 damage on the Radiant Greninja. We're going to Korrina's Focus for 5 cards. There's our Rapid Strike energy. So this isn't really a great and we are going to be able to 100 Furious Blows them into just Radiant Greninja, which really isn't that bad. We're eliminating all their Gibbles from play. So let's swing with our 100 Furious Blows. We're going to grab the Knockout, kind of debilitate their board, and maybe next turn we can find a way into our Octilleries. We did find Arven, so we do have a way to get our Octillery, so we're probably just winning this game next turn. In which case, I'm just going to play another game because 1, I love playing this deck, and 2, I think the more games we can get in these videos, the better. They're going to concealed cards. Let's see if they can find another basic. If not, this is going to be GG. Here's Gibble. It's still going to be GG. There's Bidoof, so they do live a turn unless we decide that we want to take the Yoga Loop play on this Bidoof. Not really sure how possible it's going to be. They're going to Escape Rope, which is actually probably worse for them. Unless they bring Bidoof up to active. They bring Gibble up to active. They're probably going to attach and bite, maybe. Medicham in active is pretty solid here, actually, as it means getting this Bidoof play is not too difficult. Because we're just going to double gunner. Hopefully we can find another Inteleon. We could always grab a Forest Seal Stone. They're going to bring up Remoraid here. They're going to pass. That's not the worst thing that they could have done. I think bossing Remoraid was pretty solid. We could Iono here. I don't think Iono's very good as their hand is... Well, we actually do know that they do have Rare Candy Garchomp in hand, so maybe Iono is okay. But first, we're going to double gunner these 2 bench Pokemon. And then I think we're just going to... Yeah, I think we are going to go for the Iono play. I don't think we need to get greedy here. So I think Iono's fine. We do go into the Octillery. The Octillery is pretty good here. It does mean we can kill this Gibble again. So we're going to Octillery here. We're going to Rapid Strike Search. We have set up this Bidoof fairly well. Let's Rapid Strike Search for a Tower of Waters. We're going to play it, allowing us to retreat for free into Urshifu. The deck is kind of not performing the way I'd like it to right now. However, Melanie next turn is going to be pretty good. So there's the knockout on that Gibble. That gives us an extra prize. I wonder if they're going to make anything at all happen. They do go into the Bidoof instead of the Radiant Greninja. I'm not sure how good of a play that is. Depending on what they do from their hand, they could just concede here. I don't really think there's any situation where they can win. Unless they go Path to the Peak boss Octillery again. It's not looking likely. Because with Octillery, we do have guaranteed Rapid Flow next turn. So no matter how many, unless they Rod and then somehow get 3 Gibbles down, we're killing Gibble no matter what. I'm not sure if they play Manaphy, but even if they do, Manaphy is not overly hard to kill. That's what's really great about this deck, is a card like Manaphy is killable in 1 turn as long as you have 2 Inteleons, your Medicham, and your Alakazam, which does sound like a lot, but I promise it's not. Now we do top deck our Arven here. We could probably Arven for... I'm trying to think of the best course of action here because we could hit Double Gunner onto Gibble Bidoof. And then move 20 over onto Bidoof. Attach a Rapid Strike Energy to Medicham. Loop. Okay, so I think the Arven is actually pretty solid here. Arven for 4 Seal Stone and Energy Retrieval. This does give us a guaranteed loop this turn. We're going to attach our 4 Seal Stone to our Inteleon. We're going to hit the Star Alchemy for another Inteleon VMAX. And this does guarantee us a Yoga Loop on that Bidoof down there. So that's a pretty solid play to have. We're going to go Energy Retrieval for 2 energy. We're going to Double Gunner 40 onto Gibble, 40 onto Bidoof. And this Bidoof also has 20 damage. So it's also not overly hard for us to Double Gunner play if it ever just comes out of play again. Next turn, we do have guaranteed knockout on this Gibble after this Yoga Loop play. So that's pretty crazy. The deck this is what I meant when I talked about it earlier, where Medicham wins you games. I think Medicham is just going to carry us here. We're going to retreat into this Medicham. We're going to Yoga Loop that benched Bidoof. And then there's pretty much nothing else that we're going to have that he can do to stop us here. We're going to take one of our prizes. And then this turn, we are going to have the win. I wonder, here we do get another Tower of Waters. Here we're just going to Clara. I think Clara's really solid. We don't really need this Urshifu. We're going to grab 2 Water Energy. Water Energy allows us to put 40 on this Gibble here. 40 on that Greninja there. And now we're just going to retreat. Rapid Strike Search for the game. That does kill Gibble. Greninja's got 80 damage on it, and we've never even attacked it. We do get another Energy Retrieval. We're going to Rapid Strike Search here. We're going to grab our Urshifu VMAX. Evolve. And now this is very similar to what we can do against decks like Charizard, where we can kind of just steamroll them because we just can't let their basics come into play. Like a situation like this is absolutely not abnormal for this deck. Now this game was super, super quick, so why don't we jump on over and do another one? Alrighty, so looks like we get choice. We are going to go first again, as going first is really good into most matchups. Roaring Moon is not very good. Stall is not very good. Both those are pretty well just auto losses. There is lines to play into Roaring Moon. This is a crazy hand. 2 Rapid Strike Energy, 3 Tower of Waters. I'm glad it's a mulligan, because if not, we'd probably lose that game. The deck does have an issue with mulliganing a good amount, and this starting hand is borderline unplayable. The deck is much better in 3s for reasons like this, but let's see what we can top deck. Let's see if we can get anything going whatsoever. Earthen Vessel's probably not helpful. We're probably just going to scoop this one next turn. If we can't get anything going, we are going to attach for a turn, and then I think just passing is our best play here. Can't get anything else in play, but Charizard isn't attacking us turn 1, so we are pretty okay here. They do get the Battle VIP here. Chandelure, Mimikyu. Those are both interesting choices. Mimikyu is not actually that bad, as we can Yoga Loop it, swing it with Octillery. There's a lot of options we can do. Chandelure gives us 3 free prizes from Inteleon, so I'm not actually overly concerned about this. Now, if we get Poltergeisted, this is not good. There's the Devo and the Capturing Aroma. Not really sure what I'm playing against. I actually think we played against a very similar deck the other day on... Maybe we were playing Palkia, or maybe it was Gudra that we played against another Charizard deck with Chandelure. There's a Chandelure VMAX. It's an interesting card to be playing here. They're going to attach one for turn to Chandelure. Here, we do get Radiant Alakazam, so I guess we are still alive. We can Earthen Vessel away an Inteleon here. I don't think we're actually going to grab any energies. And then we can Korrina's Focus for 3, and hopefully we can set something up. There's a Nest Ball at least, so that's not too bad here. I think Intel is more important in this scenario. And then we might just Water Gun for 20 damage or retreat into Alakazam. I think that's actually probably our safest play here, is to retreat into Alakazam. Poltergeist does 60 or 70 for each trainer in our hand. So I think if it's 70, I think we lose no matter what. We're just gonna retreat into Alakazam. It's the only expendable card right now. We're just gonna pass our turn. We can't afford to dump our TM Devo, So we're just losing this game anyways if they have the boss and the attach and the switch. Well, I guess that seems pretty far-fetched. But they do have the attach for turn, which probably means they have the switch. There's the Chandelure VMAX. Is it 70? It is 70, so either way, we were not looking safe. Chandelure's Curse Shimmer, so we can't play tools from our hand. There's double Charizard with Jacques. So they do have 2 Charizards in their hand. They do have the switch. Poltergeist is going to kill this Radiant Alakazam, which is unfortunate, but I do think that we're okay because we do have Inteleon VMAX here. Maybe we're going to Iono into 6 new cards because I don't think any of these are really great cards to have. We're going to promote this Intel here. We're going to bench Medicham. I think Medicham's actually pretty good. We're going to evolve into Intel, and then we're just going to Iono. I think Iono's really safe. It Ionos them into 1 more card, but it gets the 2 Charizards both out of their hand. Now we still go into pretty much nothing, but you know what? It probably isn't the worst. We're going to double gunner Mimikyu and this Charmander here. We don't really want to double gunner this Charmeleon over here as devolving it is, well, we can't devolve that Charmeleon. So this Charmander is a much safer thing. We are just going to go Gmax Spiral for 280. And then if we get a way to recover Alakazam again, we are going to be able to Yoga Loop this Chandelure. As long as we can find any form of outs. The deck, this is kind of what's crazy about this deck is even if we brick, we do tend to be pretty okay. Now they evolve into 1 Charmeleon here. They have attached 1 for turn onto Mimikyu, which is an interesting choice. They're going to Capturing Aroma. Probably, hopefully it's Tails. It is Heads, so they're going to be able to get a Charizard. That is not ideal for us as we take 3 prizes and we get very, very vulnerable to this Charizard. That being said, Yoga Loop on Chandelure doesn't seem like that horrible of a play as that is 3 prizes. Maybe they're going to bench another basic Pokemon. They're going to Colress here. I still don't really know. I've never really seen Chandelure played, but I've seen it twice now. They do get rid of Double Rare Candy. So maybe Devo would have been okay, but they still would have been able to just evolve into Charizard. We do get the Urshifu. I think Urshifu is actually pretty okay here. The 70 damage on us hurts pretty bad though, as this now allows Charizard EX to come and swing us next turn for knockout if we kill it. So maybe we're just gonna go attach Rapid Strike energy to Urshifu and then pass. Because this way we cannot be swung by the Charizard EX next turn because we really don't want to lose our Inteleon yet. And this just gives us 1 more turn to hopefully get anything playable. They do get another Charizard, so this board is becoming incredibly overwhelming. Devo is also not going to help us unless we can somehow ping 90 damage to 2 Pokemon, but that is probably not happening. They are going to attach 2 energies here. They've committed a lot of energies to these Pokemon. Mimikyu is still scary just because we don't really have a way to deal with it. They do have the boss's orders play. I'm not really sure what they're bossing. They're going to boss Remoraid here. Killing Remoraid hurts us, but not horribly, I guess is a good way to put that. We can go into Urshifu here. We do have our Gmax Rapid Flow, but Rapid Flow is not going to help us at all. Oh man, this is a really, really brutal spot to be in. I think just going into Intel is pretty good. And that, like, if the only way we win this is if we top deck Clara. And we don't top deck anything. We're just gonna bench this Urshi. Take our 3 prizes. I think it's our only chance. Take our 3 prizes, do our extra damage, kill the Chandelure. This means that our Urshis and our Medicham are all in very vulnerable spots, especially because he has taken 2 prizes already, and we go into nothing once again. Now, I'm still fine because we do have Inteleon in our hand. Like, it's still not looking great. They're going to Burning Darkness here. We don't really have a way. Maybe we can grab Lumineon. I think Lumineon's in our deck still. Lumineon for... Oh, man, this is really, really brutal. Lumineon for Arven, I think, is, like, the only play we have. We're going to go into this Urshifu. Melanie isn't a horrible card either, though. Maybe we evolve this Urshifu. Rapid Flow doesn't help us here too much. 4 prizes means Charizard is swinging 300 damage, which if they have any choice belts, we just lose. Or boss's orders in hand. They probably do have boss's orders, so maybe just going to Iono them to 1 is pretty okay. So we're going to Ultra Ball away Squawkabilly VIP. For our Lumineon, let me make sure we do have the other Iono in our deck. We do have the other Iono. I think our best bet is probably to evolve this Urshifu. Lumineon here for the Iono. Iono to 3 still sucks really, really bad. But sometimes you've just got to prey off of the Ionos. We're gonna attach for turn to this Urshifu here. And then we are just gonna Iono. This allows us to at least retreat so Charizard can't swing us. We go into literally nothing. So I guess we are gonna have to discard this Rapid Strike Energy in order to use Gale Thrust for 150. So Charizard's now at 170. If we can get any way to put a little more damage on it, that is excellent. I don't think there is a way really. Besides like, yeah, I don't think this game is overly winnable. They've got 2 cards in hand. They're just going to swing Burning Darkness into us. We could Cheryl, but I think Cheryl is really bad because it discards our energy. Now, if we hit the Rapid Flow, Cheryl would have been pretty decent, but I think we have to just go Professor's Research here. They're going to Defiance Vest. I don't really know what that's going to do. We literally cannot go ahead of them on prizes here. They're kind of just preying on any top deck that allows them into the boss. 4 Seal Stone's incredible, actually. We're going to Seal Stone onto this Urshifu. We can Professor's Research, and then next turn we can Seal Stone for whatever card we might need. Remoraid and Inteleon both are really, really solid to get here. We might actually still be in this game just because of everything we've gone into here. Energy Retrieval for 2 here. We are going to go into our Double Gunner. We could hit Yoga Loop on Mimikyu. Oh, no, we can't Yoga Loop Mimikyu yet. That is unfortunate. We have to wait. We have to hope we survive one more turn. We can just retreat here into this Inteleon VMAX. We do have a way to get into our Octillery next turn. So maybe here we Star Alchemy for another Rapid Strike Energy. Here's the Rapid Strike Energy we need. We're going to attach it. And then we're just going to swing Gmax Spiral. And if they get the boss, we lose. If not, we win. We're going to do our 140 damage. That puts Charizard up to 310 damage, which puts it in Yoga Loop range. So no matter what, we kind of just win. Because if we Yoga Loop this Charizard this turn, or we Yoga Loop Mimikyu next turn, I actually do think we are pretty solid, and I do think we win. I think the Iono was a really good card. Trekking Shoes is not the top deck we need. They're going to discard that Zard. If this isn't boss's orders, I'm hyped to say we do win this game. This is what I mean when I say Charizard is a pretty easy matchup for us. Because, like, we can always just pivot around. We do have... I don't even think we need the Ultra Ball, really. We can just go Double Gunner these 2. And then retreat into this Medicham to Yoga Loop this Mimikyu. We're going to hit the Yoga Loop, and then we're just going to swing. Maybe we'll Smash Uppercut this. We're going to take the Yoga Loop on this Mimikyu here, take our 1 prize. Now, this is what I mean. You should never scoop too early with this deck because the comeback potential is absolutely insane. We do top deck this Energy Retrieval, so we can Smash Uppercut here. I think that's actually hilarious that we're able to do that. We're just going to sit here and swing a Smash Uppercut for 100 damage, and that is going to be the knockout and the game against this Charizard EX / Chandelure EX. And yeah, that is Rapid Strike with a crazy, crazy comeback. As you saw, once again, Yoga Loop wins us that game. That is how absolutely insane of a card Medicham V was. I still think it's going to be really solid. As you see, they did 1,200 damage to us, and we still came out with the dub. Now, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and let's take a moment of silence for Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX.